It's true. You're not wrong.
Good evening. We do have a member of the Minister Alliance here with us this evening. Tracy, would you please come forward?
Let us pray. Precious and holy God, we thank you for the opportunity to gather together. Please be with us in this meeting today. Help us to make decisions that are guided by your hand. God, ask that we just bless this time together in your Son's name. Amen.
Amen. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I call the July 17th, 2023 Board of Aldermen meeting to order. City Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Jeremy Taylor.
Here.
Rachel Kilmer.
Here.
Kelly Netto.
Here.
Tracy Newcomer.
Here.
Pam Pope.
Here.
Jim Shrout.
Here.
And Mayor Dana Webb.
Here, thank you. The next item on the agenda is new business, deletions, or continuances. We do not have any of those, so we will move on to public comments. Do we have any of those tonight?
There are none.
There are no public comments. The next item on the agenda is approval of the consent agenda. These items are considered on the consent agenda so that members of the Board of Aldermen, by unanimous consent, can designate routine items to be approved by one motion. Tonight, we have approval of the July 10th, 2023 Board of Aldermen meeting minutes, expenditures through July 12th, 2023, June 2023 financial statement, and the semi-annual summary of the cash and fund balance for the public.
I make a motion we approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. The next item on the agenda is unfinished business. We do not have any of that tonight, so we will move on to new business. Our first item is a presentation. Before we do the presentation, I've asked Mrs. Allison to come up and just give like 2 or 3 sentences of what this is about. Just a brief synopsis, please.
Well, good evening. Thanks for having myself and my students here this evening at the City Council meeting. It's quite a privilege to be recognized by the community. National History Day is it's actually an organization that promotes the study of history in high schools around the United States and international schools as well around the world. And Oak Grove High School started this program, started using this program that puts out a theme every year. Students pick topics in accordance with the theme, and they create projects. And this year, we were very, very fortunate to have 5 entries go to the state competition, and 3 of those 5 actually made it to the national competition. And we're here tonight to salute 3 students and their milestone accomplishment. And Mayor Webb, if you'd like to.
Yes, thank you. I just kind of wanted everybody to hear about it. She spoke this past Saturday at the Historical Society and told a little bit about it. But just as always, Board, would you come down and be a part of this? We're going to give proclamations to these 3 ladies. Would the 3 of you come forward, please? So your proclamations, come on up here. They all say the same thing. So I'm just going to read one of them, and then you can each get one with your name in them, okay? All right. So it says, whereas Oak Grove High School has a rich heritage and long history of great pride in all students who are striving to reach their educational goals and well as their personal goals while participating in extracurricular activities. And whereas extracurricular activities is an essential part of a student's well-rounded education experience. In particular, meaningful applications of basic skills learned that extend beyond the classroom, like persistence, patience, and practice. These lifelong lessons benefit students long after their high school years, helping them in college and beyond. Whereas students who participate in these activities often forge close friendships with others and often have good team building together over common passion and feelings of community, and they honor and represent their hometown. Whereas, it's Brianna, right?
Brenna.
Brenna, I practiced it. incredible hard work, self-discipline, dedication to compete in the National History Day in College Park, Maryland, and presented a group exhibit called The Living Room War. Is that right? Advancing Frontiers in Media at the Smithsonian National Museum of American History in Washington, D.C., under the direction of Angie Allison. And now, therefore, I, Dana Webb, and the Board of Aldermen present to each of you this proclamation. And we have the privilege to congratulate you of your extraordinary work. Well done. We're going to give you Let's see if I can remember your names now, by giving you the right ones. All right, there you go. If you'll hold them like that, and then if you'll come up here and get all cozy with us, somebody's going to take a picture. The cameras go up. Come on up here, and we're going to squeeze in with you and get a picture. All right? You're good. You're good. We're just going to squeeze in with you. Good? Everybody got one? All right, let's give another round of applause.
Yeah, it feels hot, but I'm also cold.
This is off agenda, but it seems very hot in here. Can someone turn down the thermostat? Is that possible? Thank you. The next item on the agenda is discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding a request from the Oak Grove Chamber of Commerce regarding Lick Skillet Days, September 29th and 30th, 2023. Who's reporting? Who do you have with you tonight? I see that. Can you tell, can you have them all stand up? Yeah. Or I can. All of you stand up that are on the chamber. Nice.
Okay, so, I have, of course, Tracy Carpenter, she served as our president. They can wave behind me. You guys standing up. You're supposed to be standing up.
They did.
We did.
Yeah.
We did.
No, they did.
And then I have Ruth Ann, she's our secretary. And then I have Jill, you guys probably know her from Rustic. And then Rick, from the Dollar, I always want to say Heidi, sorry. And then I have Brandon, and back there in the back, and then Brandy. I think I was everybody's.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was a great crowd. And of course, I'm Angie Miller, and I'm the current treasurer of our chamber. And today, I present to you basically Oak Grove Chamber's excited preparing for Lick Skillet Days. We come before you today to request an open container alcohol on Broadway with the pre-approved festival areas. We have a partnership this year with American Legion and another vendor we call Embrace the Great to do our liquor sales in a controlled fashion on Broadway. That is adjusted to the American Legion, that is where our beer garden will take place. Likewise, we have also partnered with the Oak Grove Police Department, especially Chief Chouse, who's ensured that such a plan is both feasible and reasonable to carry out our open container. To plan this, the Chamber Board has also researched the practices of other cities like the city of New Summit, Branson, Perryville. These cities are almost identical to the population of Oak Grove. Such a practice has become fairly common to festivals in the area of planning. A detailed plan for this has been placed in your Alderman packet in preparation for this request today. And with that in mind, I'm just going to keep it simple. If you guys have any questions, first of all, I would tell you thank you for each of you returning my phone call. So hopefully I answered some of those questions for you on our phone call.
Thank you, Angie. Does the board have any questions for Angie or any member of the chamber?
Chief, do you have any thoughts?
Well, that's kind of an open-ended question.
Thoughts about this, Rachel?
Yes. So this was brought to me from the get-go, and there are recommendations that I brought forward to them as the board of, the chamber board. And they didn't bat an eye on any of those recommendations. They saw the need for those being designated cups, that the only thing the alcohol could be in, being wristbands that are the responsibility of the vendors to check IDs, because that is their business license, that matters, and to apply those wristbands, that all alcohol sales would stop 1 hour before the end of the event, so that we can, curtail it in some way. That if there is a kids area, game area, carnival, that no alcohol would be allowed into that area. Nothing around the kids' games. Now, mind you, that there are some games that go up and down Broadway, but we're talking the larger area behind 12th and Broadway where the carnival was last year. So no alcohol in those areas. So I am comfortable with those considerations in place, that it can be managed. It would be no different than a lot of other facilities that we deal with, go to, or around on a daily basis. So I'm comfortable with it, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. Anyone else?
Well, you're gonna quit selling alcohol at 9 o'clock, correct?
Correct, yeah, we'll shut it off.
Okay. So are you
If you're
gonna,
if
what
you're
about
gonna take
after
it
9
alcohol,
o'clock?
American Legion, they would actually, maybe, they're with us here today, we have Wayne and a couple of their guys with us. You could go into their facility and stay in their facility at that point, so,
After 9 o'clock?
after 9.
Well, I mean, if you got a wristband and you still got a cup, I mean, are they drinking gonna be allowed later on? I mean, they can get their own booze somewhere.
Well, that's a matter that could occur at any time. So it's just that there are no free sales out into the street after 9 o'clock. So yeah, we're going to be slowing it down. People will still be walking around, but we're just trying to get away from any of that last call mentality at 10.
Right.
And everyone filling up, and then
Right,
as we shut things down, not having control of it.
The festival will close at 10 at both nights.
Okay.
Angie, did you say that there would be a beer garden adjacent to the Legion, or will this go on inside the Legion?
We'd like to have like a seating area kind of just outside the Legion, and that's kind of where they would sit here and then Brady's break and sit just on the side of that.
But it's not technically a beer garden, like it's gonna be just open, like any of the other vendors, right?
But we still want a seating area outside the Legion.
And will that be the only location that alcohol is sold, is just those two vendors right in front of the American Legion building?
Yes, that's who we partnered with this year. You guys probably were given a map, I know too, as well.
Yes, they have
You
one.
can See that, kind of, that's just, if you've been to Lick Skillet before, we did not make any changes in the direction of everything, except that we probably put the food trucks into the other side closer to the railroad tracks. Accommodate our beer area.
So how are we gonna stop people from leaving with alcohol? And in addition to that, how are you gonna stop people from going into the kids' area without, how? Yeah.
I mean, technically, like I told each of you probably by phone, volunteers is a huge factor. And, I mean, I'll be there personally both days, the full effect of the, festival. I agree to do that. And, I mean, all we can do is watch and look. Anytime I think we've worked really well with the police department in the past and have had any issues, we've just, gone up there and tapped them on their shoulder and they've taken control of it. And so, I mean, this will be my 5th festival, Lick Skillet with you guys in Oak Grove, and I can only think of one time I had to do that, honestly, we had issues, so. And that's the 2 years inside Scrapyard, so. Any other questions? Any thoughts?
Anything else?
We're excited to part, like I said, we got Wayne and them from the, American Legion, and I was excited to be able to partner with them this year, so, help them with their non-for-profit as well, so.
So the cups will be, the ones that you're gonna issue for alcohol will not be issued for soft drinks?
No, not,
Okay.
no soft drinks. They'll be logoed and identified for us.
Okay. Okay.
feels weird. I can't quite put my finger on it, but, I mean, we had to fight for the first beer garden, so to go from fighting for the first beer garden to open containers throughout, like, in that area, it feels odd, but I don't know. But, I mean, it sounds like you guys are on the same page, so.
You've seen it in other areas, like you noted,
Yes. I
and
mean,
Chief has too.
I went to downtown Lee Summit Days, just over about a month ago, and that's the first time, I mean, technically, I was watching it live. As I was walking down the sidewalk, a gentleman offers me to buy a drink, and of course, my friend and I were, no, sorry, we don't wanna walk around with it. And he's like, oh, no, you can do it. You just walk around with it. So I was super intrigued with that and watched very closely as, of course, now they had parents standing in line with their kids with beer in their hand, waiting to get on the Ferris wheel that was like 20 feet deep. But, I was just like, that's really nice. And then Embrace the Grape was a vendor at that event, so that's why I reached out to her to get her opinion of it. She said she thought overall the experience went very well for her, so.
Thank you. Any other questions from the board?
I have one, probably for Matt. Is there no issue with MoDOT and having it on there?
So last year, part of the beer garden did extend past Scrapyard for the cornhole tournament. That was on MoDOT right of way. MoDOT's position in the past has been this is a city event, right? This is a community event. Whilst they're right of way, but all liability would come back on the chamber or the city.
If I may add to that, I had a follow-up with David McDaniels, who is the traffic specialist for MoDOT and approves our permit. He would find no reason to deny our permit because that is a municipal decision.
Thank you, Chief. Any other questions?
Well, I'll make a motion that we approve the Oak Grove Chamber of Commerce request for an open container policy in the designated Lick Skillet Festival area on September 29th and 30th.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the Chamber's request for the designated Lick Skillet Days Beer Garden request. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Angie. And also, thank you, Chamber, for coming tonight. Thank you for staying strong with Lick Skillet Days. I know it will be very much appreciated by our community. Since you've been down your director, we really appreciate your time and effort putting forward with Lick Skillet Days. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is discussion, consideration, and possible action for Bill Number 23-23 regarding an ordinance of the City of Oak Grove, Missouri to establish a procedure to disclose potential conflicts of interest and substantial interest for certain municipal officials. Is that you, Matt? Oh, it's you, Kim, tonight.
Sorry, this is
Okay.
just housekeeping. This is the ordinance that we file every year.
I move for, oh, sorry.
No, so this, we have to do a public hearing.
Oh.
No,
No, not on this one, the next one. Okay. So yes, it is an
Oh.
ordinance. Go ahead.
Very good. Okay. I move,
it's an ordinance.
okay, I move for first and second reading by title only of Bill Number 23-23.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for the first and second reading of the proposed ordinance, which is Bill Number 2323, by title only. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. City Clerk, would you please read the full title of the bill 2 times?
An ordinance of the City of Oak Grove, Missouri to establish a procedure to disclose potential conflicts of interest and substantial interest for certain municipal officials. An ordinance of the City of Oak Grove, Missouri to establish a procedure to disclose potential conflicts of interest and substantial interests for certain municipal officials.
I move for adoption of Bill Number 23-23.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for the adoption of Bill Number 23-23 for ordinance. Any discussion? If not, City Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Jeremy Taylor.
Yes.
Rachel Kilmer.
Yes.
Kelly Netto.
Yes.
Tracy Newcomer.
Yes.
Pam Pope.
Yes.
Jim Shrout.
Yes.
The motion is approved, and Bill Number 23-23 23-23 becomes ordinance number 2082. The next item on the agenda is a public hearing regarding a proposed amendments to Chapter 405 Unified Development Code, Section 405.500 definitions, 405.200 use regulations, and 405.205 special use standards regarding marijuana regulations. Is that you, John? That is me. Thank you. Are you bringing something up there?
No.
Okay.
No. It's just notes if I can. But as we've talked about before this past year, Article 14, Section 2 legalized recreational marijuana in the state of Missouri. We've talked about some changes that would be necessary as part of that constitutional amendment. And before you tonight is another code change regarding zoning. And this is the first step in permitting the new facilities that were established as part of that constitutional amendment. Generally, those are the comprehensive facilities and the micro-business dispensary facilities, dispensaries and cultivation facilities. The changes before you tonight are very, very simple. Just adds the definitions for the new facilities, but otherwise, they are zoned the same as the comparable medical facilities, which you passed, I think, a couple of years ago, and then the regulations governing their operation. The changes there pretty much just added recreational next to medical. So the same operating standards would apply, and they are zoned the same as the comparable medical facilities. The changes are very, very simple, by just tracking with the constitutional amendment to begin allowing those facilities which are permitted by the Constitution. Do you have any questions about this?
This went through planning and zoning
Yes.
it already.
Any questions for John from the board?
Public hearing part?
So John starts it, then if you have any questions for him, you can ask him. Then I will open for the public, for public comments, and if there aren't, okay. We good? Okay. Any questions from the board?
Is this to align with the state of Missouri on there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, John.
Thank you very much.
Members of the public who wish to offer testimony regarding this public hearing and the discussion may step forward at this time. Please give your comments to me, state your name and address, and I will direct your comments to the correct person. I now open the public hearing. If there are no public comments, I will close the public hearing. The next item on the agenda is discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding Bill number 23-24 regarding ordinance amending Chapter 405 Unified Development Code Sections 405.500, 405.200, and 405.205, subsection EE of the Municipal Code of the City of Oak Grove regarding marijuana facilities.
I move for the first and second reading by title only of bill number 2324.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for the first and second reading of the proposed ordinance, which is bill number 23-24, by title only. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. City Clerk, would you please read the full title of the bill 2 times?
An ordinance amending Chapter 405 Unified Development Code, Sections 405.500, 405.200, and 405.205, subsection EE of the Municipal Code of the City of Oak Grove, Missouri regarding marijuana facilities. An ordinance amending Chapter 405 Unified Development Code, Sections 405.500, 405.200, and 405.205, subsection EE of the Municipal Code of the City of Oak Grove, Missouri regarding marijuana facilities.
I move for adoption of bill number 23-24.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for the adoption of Bill Number 23-24 for ordinance. Any discussion? If not, City Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Jeremy Taylor,
Yes.
Rachel Kilmer,
Yes.
Kelly Neto,
Yes.
Tracy Newcomer,
Yes.
Pam Pope,
Yes.
Jim Shrout.
Yes.
The motion is approved, and Bill Number 23-24 becomes ordinance number 2083. The next item on the agenda is a public hearing regarding an application for a conditional use permit for a pole sign requested by Blue Beacon USA LP applicant for the property located at 306 Northwest First Street. Is that you?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So Blue Beacon has applied for a new pole sign, which will replace the existing pole sign that's currently on site. By code, new pole signs are required to be approved via conditional use permit, as well as meet certain specific standards as outlined in code. Pole signs have to be located within 500 feet of the right-of-way of I-70. The gross signboard area per site cannot exceed 150 square feet. The pole sign itself cannot be attached to a building, a roof, or a wall. The proposed, any proposed pole sign cannot be higher than 60 feet in elevation above I-70. The signboard itself can't be more than 15 feet in height. And reviewing the proposed pole sign, the pole sign that is proposed meets all applicable code requirements specific to a conditional use permit for a new pole sign. The Planning Commission has held a public hearing. They reviewed and recommended approval of a conditional use permit allowing said pole sign with the condition that the proposed sign meets all required codes. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions the board may have.
Thank you, Matt. Does the board have any questions for city staff?
I was just a little confused reading through the notes. So which of the things does it not meet? Or-
It's, yeah,
Oh, yeah, so what they had proposed, their template today for design is almost, well, over double what is there now. But as we got into the discussion at planning and zoning, they were more than happy to propose a sign that fell within the 150 square
So it's
square
just
feet.
the surface area of the sign itself is the only issue? Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, their current template is just a different sign than what you see today out by I-70.
Okay.
But they're willing to do what's there and
Okay.
just move it.
Okay.
yeah, so sorry to clarify, yeah, in the first application that went to Planning and Zoning Commission, they met all the code requirements other than the gross sign area was almost 300 square feet. That's the default pole sign that Blue Beacon typically uses. That was what was sent to us.
Okay.
We said, well, our code is only 150 square feet for a sign face. In fact, Rod Crawford is here with Blue Beacon. He's their construction manager. And they said they're more than willing to amend their application to meet our local codes and ordinances, which they did. So they sent in a revised application prior to tonight's meeting, which is the 150 square feet, which does.
Got it. Okay. Okay.
Thank you, Matt. Does the board have any more questions for city staff? Members of the public who wish to offer testimony regarding the conditional use permit may step forward at this time. To give your comments, please state your name and address for the record prior to your comments. I now open the public hearing.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Rod Crawford, 500 Graves Boulevard, Salina, Kansas. I'm the construction manager for Blue Beacon. And I'm really here to thank you all for your time and staff's time and consideration for this and to answer any questions you may have of us.
Thank you. Appreciate you driving. That's a long drive just to come for a meeting, but we appreciate it.
That is a long drive.
I'll probably come back on the 29th. But that's
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, you need to. Oh. Any questions?
I don't have it.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Again, we really appreciate Blue Beacon staying in Oak Grove and remodeling and, continuing to grow in our town. We do appreciate that. Thank you.
I move for first and second.
Hold on.
No.
I got to close the public hearing.
Gosh, I keep
I'm
forgetting
waiting.
we're in public hearing.
Pausing.
You're
so,
pausing
Yeah.
for people.
Well, just you never know, Kelly.
It's Monday.
If there are no more public comments, I now close the public hearing.
Eat my candy.
The next item on the agenda is discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding Bill Number 23-25, regarding an ordinance approving the conditional use permit at Blue Beacon USA LP for a pole sign at 306 Northwest First Street, Oak Grove, Missouri.
I'll move for first and second reading by title only of Bill Number 23-25.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second for the first and second reading of the proposed ordinance, which is Bill Number 23-25, by title only. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes. City Clerk, would you please read the full title of the bill 2 times?
An ordinance approving a conditional use permit for Blue Beacon USA LP for a pole sign at 306 Northwest First Street, Oak Grove, Missouri. An ordinance approving a conditional use permit for Blue Beacon USA LP for a pole sign at 306 Northwest First Street, Oak Grove, Missouri.
I move for adoption of Bill Number 23-25.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for the adoption of Bill Number 23-25 for ordinance. Any discussion? If not, City Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Jeremy Taylor,
Yes.
Rachel Kilmer,
Yes.
Kelly Netto,
Yes.
Tracy Newcomer,
Yes.
Pam Pope,
Yes.
Jim Shrout.
Yes.
Motion is approved, and Bill Number 23-25 becomes ordinance number 2084. The next item on the agenda is discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding a resolution for the City of Oak Grove supporting an application by D. Kim Lindell and MBL Development for the Missouri Housing Development Commission funding for senior housing at Red Maple Villas Phase 2. Matt?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So 2 years ago, it was in August, Red Maple Villas requested a resolution of support for their second phase of Red Maple Villas Phase 2. The board approved that resolution in support of their application in August. Red Maple Villas submitted an application package in 2021 and in 2022, in 2022 and then this year, 2023, but were not selected by the state for their application. The program is highly competitive with a lot of senior housing applying for the tax credit package through the state of Missouri. They plan to apply for a third time because they still have a waiting list for the first phase, and they would like to build out a second phase. So they are planning to apply for a third time, and they've requested that the resolution be updated. Since the date on it is 2021, they'd like to include one with the current date for their next application package later this year. For some context, Red Maple Villas Phase 1 consists of 40 units with a community building. Red Maple Villas Phase 2 would be a very similar layout. It would be to the south of that, and it would be 38 units and would include an additional community building. The property is currently zoned ag, so it would need to be at some point rezoned to accommodate this particular use. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions the board may have. The resolution is the same, just with updated dates. Thank you.
Do they have any intention of moving forward with this without the tax package that they're wanting from the state, or no? Do we know?
Yeah, I don't believe so. I think the tax credits make it viable for them. They do this development in other areas of the state. One thing that makes, for us here in Oak Grove, more difficult is we're, in the way that the state looks at it, we're part of the KC Metro. So they're competing against other projects in Kansas City, Independence. So it is difficult for them to be selected. They scored well last year, and they're hopeful that third time's a charm.
Is there something that we can do to assist in that, like a reference letter or anything like that? I mean, obviously you said it's sold out and it's sold out very quickly, and I mean, we see it all the time looking for that type of housing. I didn't know if
Yeah, so they did.
support
They,
of us would make a difference at all.
I think you're looking at it.
yeah,
This is
You're
the
looking
letter
at
right
it.
here.
Oh my God, never mind.
So
Well, I
they-
meant like a personal letter, each of us written.
yeah, certainly. Yeah, you certainly, as a mayor or an alder member, individually, you could certainly write letters in support of it. Wouldn't hurt. I know they've also going to reach out to civic organizations here in town, the Chamber of Commerce, for instance. They'll probably reach out and ask a letter from them if they haven't already. Like I said, their package was highly rated. I think part of it is that since they had just gotten one in Oak Grove 2 years ago, that they decided to go to other communities that have not received senior housing tax credits before. So they're hopeful that they will, maybe third time's a charm, they'll get it. They did say that this is the soonest they've done a phase 2 in any of their other developments in the state of Missouri, simply because of the need and the waiting list that's here.
It still has a waiting list, correct?
Yeah.
It had a waiting list while it was being built, and it still has a waiting list, just for public information.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you, Matt. This is not an ordinance.
I make a motion to approve the City of Oak Grove supporting the application for the MBL Development's Missouri Housing Development Commission funding.
Second.
Close enough?
I have a motion and a second to approve the resolution for Red Maple Villas Phase 2. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. The next item on the agenda is information reports. Matt, do you have one?
No report, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Chris? No report. Thank you. Mark?
From Friday's storm, Evergy's outage map shows no outages in Oak Grove at this time.
That's good news. You're here, so that it's always good when you're here when there's possible storm warnings. So thank you for being here, Mark. Chief?
No report, thank you, Mayor.
Corey?
No reports, thank you, Mayor.
Kim?
No report.
Scott?
No report, thank you.
We're going down here tonight. Pam?
No report.
Tracy?
No report.
No report.
Jeremy? Jim?
No report. I don't even think if anybody's got any kind of debris or anything. I guess it's Wednesdays is when you can take that, certain Wednesdays, over with the county.
Jackson County has a drop-off. Is that what you're referring
Yeah, I
to?
just want to make sure everybody knows that.
Do you know that? Do you know the
Yes, the Eastern
details?
Jackson County Yard Waste
Yes.
program? Yeah. Yeah, so we can put something out on our Facebook page to let
Can
folks
we do
know
that?
that they can take their debris. It's either by the bag or by the truckload.
But it's only open on a Wednesday, right? Or is it
Yeah, and Saturday, I believe it's open on Saturdays as well.
Saturday too?
Yeah. But yeah, we'll put that out on our Facebook page so people are aware of it. Thank you.
I could be wrong, but I think there's a special drop-off right now because of the storm, but I'm not sure. But maybe we can find that out before we
There.
post it. Yes, I think. Anything else, Jim?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. Kelly?
No report.
Rachel?
No report.
All right. The only report I have is thank you again, ladies, for coming, and we celebrate you and for everything that you did in Washington, D.C. Thank you for making us proud, and we really appreciate you being here tonight. So I'm looking for a motion for executive session.
Make a motion that we move to executive session 610.0213.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second for executive session 610.0213. Any discussion? If not, City Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Jeremy Taylor?
Yes.
Rachel Kilmer?
Yes.
Kelly Netto?
Yes.
Tracy Newcomer?
Yes.
Pam Poe?
Yes.
Jim Shroud?
Yes.
We are adjourned to executive session.